Pedro Pascal has been acting for almost 30 years, so join us as we take a trip through the highs and lows of his career to date and the evolution of the daddy.
But daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying?
In 1993, Pedro was 18 when he graduated from Orange County School of the Arts. He then moved to New York City and enrolled in New York University's Tisch School of the Arts. Fast forward to the age of 21, and our Pedro had just 1 year left of uni before making his first acting debut in a very short film called Burning Bridges. This was very quickly followed by another appearance in another short film called Window Shopping.
Well, I'm lost and I have a map, so...
Oh, I come in second. Buffy.
At 24 years old, Pedro had his first big year. This is when he starred in his first ever big TV show. Only one episode, however, this is when things really started for Pedro, as he then featured in another 3 TV shows that year. In 2001, Pedro played the goth guy in Earth vs. the Spider. Yes, that was his actual name, and this was his first ever major role. Following that, he then took a career break from movies until he was 30 years old. That last role must have been traumatizing. He then returned to our film screens in Sisters. For the next 3 years, Pedro then guest starred in a couple episodes of Law & Order, playing a special agent and a thug. Now that is versatility. Now Pedro is not just a pretty face and an actor, he's also a director and a writer. Because at 35 years old, Pedro wrote a play called Flacker Loves Bones. This is a story about 4 siblings who meet in a woods to uncover a family secret. He then made his directional debut with Killing Play. I mean, what can't this man do?
I came out here to make the first pour of the new beer by Omegang, Valar Margulis, All Men Must Die, drinking beer.
For the next 3 to 4 years, Pedro continued to pick up smaller roles on stage and in television until he landed on one of his biggest roles to date. 2014 Game of Thrones, starring in 7 episodes.
Have they told you who I am?
After 20 years of pursuing acting, Pedro's career was finally in full swing. This next casting was so successful that his next few years were completely booked. At 40, he had his first lead role in 30 episodes of a show called Narcos, which I'm sure we all know by now. This ran for 3 years and actually won him his first ever award, the Gracie Award for Outstanding Male Lead in a Drama Special. But even then, during his time filming Narcos, he was also picking up other films like Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
So many people have already seen it and I haven't even caught up.
Now, just when you thought things couldn't get any better, at 44 years old, Pedro made his Broadway debut in an adaptation of King Lear. Fun fact, he actually started theatre in 1999, doing a couple on-stage plays. However, Pedro launching himself onto that Broadway stage doesn't mean his on-screen career was over or on a pause by any means, because in that same year, he was the Mandalorian, which he won a BTVA Voice Acting Award for.
This is the way.
At 45 years old, Pedro was named one of the sexiest men on the planet by People, whilst also starring in Wonder Woman 1984 and We Can Be Heroes. In 2021, he actually became the internet's most favourite meme after a video resurfaced of him laughing really hard and then crying even harder. He also continued to play Mando in the 2nd season of Mandalorian. Now, at 47 years old, Pedro was no longer called Pedro, because to the fans, he was named Daddy. Now, this is because he went viral on Vanity Fair for doing a lie detector test and literally saying to the camera, "I am your daddy." He didn't do himself any favours with that one.
Daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
Now, in terms of on-screen that year, Pedro also starred in a Boba Fett miniseries and starred alongside Nicolas Cage in the comedy action film The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. After 24 episodes, they actually did wrap up The Mandalorian in the end. Now, this was in fact one of Pedro's highest rated TV shows that he's ever been a part of. Now, more recently, season 1 of The Last of Us was released, where he played a lead role of Joel. Now, this series was a huge success for HBO and allowed Pedro to reach dizzying heights. Now, we're almost caught up, but in 2024, Pedro was extremely busy, playing 5 different on-screen characters. One in Gladiator 2, which is extremely successful and grossed over $460 million worldwide. And now in 2025, if you're looking for something to look forward to, well, Pedro is going to be busy for the next couple years, filming the Avengers Doomsday, the Fantastic Four, and the Mandalorian and Grogu, which is one of the most highly anticipated films to date. I cannot wait. Subscribe for more evolutions and let us know who you want us to do next.